From what I have learned this semester is crime is when someone breaks the law and deviance is someone who does things that is out of society norms. Deviant behavior can be formal and informal. It can also be voluntary and involuntary. Deviance can be linked because there are acts that are illegal and do not conform to society. Examples of deviance would include robbery, theft, rape, murder, and assault. Moreover, dark figure of crime is a term employed by criminologists and sociologists to describe the amount of unreported and undiscovered crime. Some reasons that people do not report crimes is because perhaps they are afraid that maybe the offender will attack them as an act of revenge. It could also be that they are embarrassed about what happened to them and they want to avoid social media posting about their situation. Furthermore, one important sociological thing that everyone should try to understand is shaming. I do not think that shaming assists the criminal justice system to deter crime. Reason for that is because shaming individuals will not motivate them to become better. Sometimes individuals do remorse on their actions and they want to change, but the shaming constantly reminds them of what they did. For example, I once had a friend who stole an expensive shirt from Macy's because he wanted to look cool around his friends. He was a smart kid and he was a basketball player. He was just being foolish like any other young adult. He was pressed with charges, and when his parents found out, they were extremely disappointed because they had high expectations. Thus, they kicked him out of the house. He tried to go back a few times, but they would not forgive him. He eventually became depressed and started smoking marijuana. He always says that maybe if his parents would not have kept shaming him and forgiven what he did, he would not be where he is now. Furthermore, shaming cuts opportunities for individuals who are trying to start over in life. Once a person is labeled by the criminal justice system, it is difficult for them to find jobs because, as stated in discussion 1, employers lose trust that can lead them to recommit crimes because they feel like they lost purpose. Lastly, I think shaming is implemented today through social media. They use the media as a tool, hoping they can deter individuals from committing crimes by sharing news about criminals. Furthermore, another important sociological thing that everyone should try to understand is strain theory. The meaning of general strain theory is when expectations from society obligate individuals to commit a crime. In the article, it states that crime was rooted in the inability to achieve their success goals. Nowadays, it is expected that everyone should have a car, a career, a house, and a family at a certain age. There are certain individuals who have it easy, but there are also people who cannot even afford to eat. With that being said, I believe that it is the person's and society's responsibility that causes strain. The reason why I contemplate that it is partially society's fault is because of these expectations that are being implemented. In the article, it states that individuals might attempt to achieve their monetary goals through illegitimate channels such as theft, drug sales, and prostitution. Therefore, individuals who have trouble going to school or getting a job are more likely to break the law in order to become successful. In addition, they might start to sell drugs or themselves to be able to attend school or provide for their families. Moreover, the individual who committed the crime takes part of the responsibility as well because he or she should have control over their emotions. In the article, it states that crimes were motivated by a desperate desire for money. Even though there are certain expectations in this world, people should just follow their own plan and not let society affect what they do. To conclude, everyone is taught morals and values at a young age. Therefore, it is that person's job to remain positive and to be patient. Lastly, I do take in consideration that society is becoming harsher in its attitudes towards criminals and others. Ever since Donald Trump has become president, a lot of discriminating has been going on. The reason for that is because Donald Trump was quick to judge minorities. For example, he continuously states that Mexicans are the ones who are bringing the cartel and human trafficking here to the United States. Another example would be terrorism for the Muslims. Both are not entirely true because there are many of the United States citizens who are involved in drugs, cartels, and prostitution. In addition, school and mass shootings have been occurring lately, and most of the shooters are all white. Thus, society is becoming harsher in its attitudes towards minorities who are committing crime. Moreover, as mentioned in question 4, authorities have been taking advantage of their power. In chapter 9, it illustrates the police have vast amount of discretion with little accountability in the criminal justice system. The police have been acting harsher towards minorities who are breaking the law. Sometimes they are not even doing anything at all, but some police officers are inclined to just be harsh with them. Also, minorities have been receiving harsher sentencing than white people. For example, Washington Post states, "Black men who commit the same crimes as white men receive federal prison sentences that are, on average, nearly 20% longer." With that being said, society and the criminal justice system are being harsher towards minorities, and it is not necessary because it is only creating more hatred towards each other. Eventually, folks will stop trusting the criminal justice system because in the end, they are going to feel like they do not have no one to depend on because they are not being fair. Lastly, I firmly believe that the criminal justice system should treat males and females equally. Even though women do not commit bad crimes as much as males, they are still breaking the law and justice needs to be served. In Chapter 8, it states, while much female crime is a small scare, for example, shoplifting, more serious crimes are committed by women, including infanticide. If a male commits shoplifting, burglary, or theft, he will still be thrown in prison without hesitation and serve a sentence. If a woman commits those crimes, everyone is quick to think, oh, it's because she did not have money, or she is a mother, she needs to provide for her kids. And it should not be that way because the male could have been a father or a provider, but it does not cross anyone's thoughts. In addition, the same thing goes with killing a child. If a father were to murder a child, he would get life in jail without parole, although the criminal justice system would be more lenient to a mother and send her to a detention center. Furthermore, Lawson states that women are more likely to be involved in property crimes and in other petty offenses, such as drunkenness. I really disagree with the quote because it is stating that the drunkenness is not an important offense. What if the person could have gotten into a car and driven drunk? She could have gotten into an accident and possibly taken someone else's life. In conclusion, prisons are made to protect society from bad people and to make criminals learn their lesson. The criminal justice system should not place women in rehab or detention centers because then they will never learn their lesson. Young females, teenagers can get influenced because if they notice that the system is treating females more lenient, then they will not be afraid to commit crimes in the future. To conclude, this course has taught me many things that I know that will assist me in my criminal justice career in the future. To be frank, I was afraid to take this course in the beginning of the semester because I have never taken an online class before and I thought that I was not going to be able to catch up. I admit the homework was a bit challenging, but I learned more than what I did when I took a class face to face. My understandings of crime and deviance has really grown and I feel like the discussions assisted me on that. I feel like now when someone wants to talk about a crime, I will be able to input something important in the argument because I understand the criminal mind and I will be able to explain why crime happens.